Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. It's Gord, your hurtin' hippie. And for me right now, it's Tuesday. For you, it's going to be Wednesday or later. And welcome to the unacceptable views from this fringe minority. The title will be something along those lines. Friends, sometimes you have to speak out. But First, I want to speak to the many of you who have commented so much. The new subscribers, many of you, 75 new in the past month. And you old subscribers, you subscribers who have been with me for a long time. Every single one of you matters, just like every single one of our opinions matter. So to you who are new to this channel, this is usually my medicine related channel. This is usually more about this and less about freedom and politics and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, my friends, freedom is not political. But for you who are new, I will be doing more videos supporting our truckers, and I will be doing other videos. You may find yourself saying, maybe I shouldn't have subbed. That usually happens. Some of you go, wow, I found my home. Many of you have done that too. Either way, you're welcome. I appreciate it. I just look for honesty, decorum, and being a gentleman or gentlewoman. Either way, thank you for your support, for being a part of this channel. Second of all, people may notice that we lost one Patreon supporter. That's okay. You know what? They come and they go. They're very, very important to me. But I'm not for everybody. After a while, sometimes people tire of me. I've been married twice. A little joke. Very little. Kind of like me. So, to you new subs, welcome. Almost every Friday morning and every Sunday night, I do a live show where we get together and we have what we call our group therapy, our group sessions, where we just talk about anything and it's wide open. And I often review different strains for you, but right now I'm focused on something that's important to Canada. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, some of you don't like me doing political stuff, and I do keep saying, please understand, this isn't political. This is about freedom. That is not a right or left issue. That is the basis, the basic need in Maslow's hierarchy. Safety in one's own freedom is a basic need. Before we worry about anything else in our lives, we want to be safe. But I digress. People aren't always going to share my opinion, and I'm really, really wonderfully happy about that. And I want to address the few complaints that sometimes I speak rather colorfully. I usually, in my comments, my dear friends, I try to match the person who's speaking to me. I do agree with some what would you call it, critiques of how I commented. I expect that. It's okay. And I will agree that sometimes I don't think we need to be saying F Trudeau. I agree with that. But I want you all, now that we've gotten through all that, and my apologies to anybody I offend, but please remember, I've always said this, if you take offense to anything I've said, you have taken it. Shame, shame. I did not offer offense. I did not give offense. I never do. Not once is a word coming out of my mouth on my show meaning to offend anybody. So if you've taken offense, you have taken it. But also, if you've taken offense, you may have misunderstood or taken out of context what I've said. And sometimes maybe I come across offensive. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. So, what are these unacceptable views that our grand leader talked about? It's unfair to do this, to class a group of Canadians, which I hear the latest says over 50% of Canadians support the truckers. Now that they've been there for 4 days and it's totally peaceful, and they're friends with the police, look at this. Pipe ceremony with the cops. These people are not hurting anybody. Yes, it gets noisy at night. A protest has to cause some sort of trouble, otherwise it'll never end. They have to make themselves heard and seen so that we can get our chicken prime minister to come out of the gallows, to come out of hiding and speak to these people and admit that the science has morphed. My friends, this vaccine was once sold to us as something, if you got the vaccine, you couldn't pass on the virus. If you got the vaccine, not only could you not pass it on, but you wouldn't get it. Those two are not true. We don't know to what extent, but those two are no longer true. Our own Prime Minister has caught it, double vaccinated and the booster, maybe, who knows. And he's caught it. And he's surrounded by people double boosted. You know what I mean? Yet he got it. So, do we hide even stronger from something that isn't getting us very sick anymore? When the World Health Organization is suggesting that Omicron is likely the end of this and it's going to become a seasonal flu, that is quoting WHO, so YouTube, don't take me down. This is a slippery slope when we call our fellow Canadians unacceptable in their views or fringe in their relationships. And our media, instead of, this should be a time that our media, if they were truly representing Canadians, they would go out there and interview the truckers, interview the police, do wonderful shows about how Canada is coming together. But in the true color of a paid-for media, they are instead trying to find the odd thing they can complain about and try to expand it, expound it, exacerbate it, and report it as normal. But we all know better. If anything, this is proving the ridiculousness of our media and the need for better media. And our Prime Minister quoting, the science tells us X. The science tells us X, Y, and Z. Z for you Americans. X, Y, and Z. It tells us A, B, and C. It tells us the letters in between. Science is ever changing and never knowing. It's only, this is what we know at this given time with what we can study and what we know. We don't know the future of this, and we're all in this together. Creating division between people is inaccurate, is wrong, is hurtful, and a terrible slippery slope where our children have to grow up in this world. I even had a friend say to me when I said, wow, we have teachers, grown adults who are supposed to stand in front of danger for our kids, hiding behind our kids, masking them so they don't get sick. Not so the kids, but so they themselves. And I say, no, let's stand in front of our kids and let them remove their bondage, their masks, their terrible mental state right now of fear and unknowing. I am mostly driven by the thoughts of my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I grew up knowing freedom. I want to make sure that they do too. So friends, in your support, be kind. In your critique of me, be kind, because we're Canadian, and that is the basis of being Canadian. So, once again, folks, some unacceptable views from this fringe part of society that happens to be growing and becoming, it's quite a fringe, 55%. That's only one figure I've heard. The worst I heard is 28%. That's almost a third. And in Canada, that's over 15 million people. So we are not a fringe. And any view, even if you disagree with me, any view is acceptable, because that's what we're supposed to do, is have opinions, hear other opinions, reformulate our opinions while they do the same, and somehow we may not all agree, but we will understand the position of the other. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.